with our best of. What are we calling it? The top tops?
Top number.
Top number. Welcome to Top Number.
Yeah,
Today on Top Number.
Okay.
Today on Top Number.
I was thinking of Top Gear, I know, but...
Best songs from actual events. Yes, believe it or not, some people do write songs about things that actually happened. They don't just take drugs and make shit up. Nirvana. Yeah.
You could have like all of Taylor Swift's songs on there.
No, that's stuff that actually happened, Alex. She has a heart broken. Maybe.
As far as we know. We're
As far
talking
as we
about
know.
things that are based on a historical event, basically. An actual recorded thing that appeared in a newspaper, at least one newspaper, somewhere in the world. Actual event that inspired the song, if not the inspiration for the song. That's where it gets, you cross the line a little bit. I'm going to start off, I think. We're looking for our top three out of each of our top three. So the way we're going to do this, we're just going to spout off three. We're going to argue about which ones we like. Hopefully we'll move on to the next topic before taking up too much of your time. One of my favorites, Sink the Bismarck. Johnny Horton,
That was nice.
1960 it was recorded.
May of 1941, the war had just begun. The Germans had the biggest ship that had the biggest guns. The Bismarck was the fastest ship that ever sailed the sea. On her decks were guns as big as steers and shells as big as trees.
Ohio, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. We are filming in Ohio, so I thought it appropriate that that song make the list. Everybody will remember the line, "For dead in Ohio." Can't sing, but that's kind of what it goes like.
Tin soldiers and Nixon coming, we're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming, for dead in Ohio.
And it's about the Kent State shootings in 1970 on May 4th. And I think probably the oldest one on this list, I'm expecting,
Probably.
the Star-Spangled Banner. Written,
Definitely oldest.
written because he saw the flag rise up over the Fort McHenry. Couldn't remember it. I had to look at my notes. That's terrible. That's a history minor. Your turn.
Well, okay, I got my three now. Now, he already got one that I want in the top three. So, my three are Prima Victoria by Sabaton. Now, it's, what is it, Swedish?
Sabaton?
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be German. I'm not sure.
I think they're German.
Look it up.
Prima Victoria is by Sabaton, and it's about that they call in the in Europe, the first victory. In World War II, basically what we know as D-Day here in the States.
Normandy.
Normandy. Right. What? Exactly.
June 6,
My grandfather was
1944.
there. Serious stuff.
As we make our way to heaven, to the Nazi lines. Leave Victoria on the 6th of June, on the shores of Western Europe, 1944. D-Day upon us.
On the other side, a week later.
What other side?
Wasn't it the other side? Like, Normandy was on one side.
No, he
was on
wasn't
the
fighting
other
for the
side.
Germans, if that's what you mean. He was on the
No,
other
he
side.
was on the other side.
There
was
disrespecting his memory here.
It was a peninsula or something like that, right?
It's a series of beaches, and he was not on the beach where the major slaughter
He was
occurred on
in-
the first day.
yeah.
He was like second day or second wave at Utah Beach, so it's
And-
still impressive to be able to come home and say you were there and you went through all that. Go ahead.
Now, my next one, going back to the 60s apparently, was Hurricane by Bob Dylan. At least I want to say it was the 60s. The Hurricane is about a boxer named Reuben Hurricane Carter, who supposedly killed, what was it, the wife? Or, yeah, I want to say it was his wife, I don't know. Anyway, he supposedly murdered
If you
people.
bring up the song, you should be the expert on it. That's all I'm saying.
I should have tried to look some more up, but
I had to look at my notes, but at least I made
my failure is my own doing. Anyway, he was accused of killing people in this convenience store in, I want to say Chicago now. Well, he was accused and sent down. But anyway.
Here comes the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world.
Anyway, number 3.
Number 3 was 16 Tons, originally done by Tennessee Ernie Ford. I always do his name wrong. Tennessee Ernie. Blah. Anyway, it was done as a remembrance of the coal miner, basically, where they would go down, not be paid a whole lot, lug coal back and forth, and 16 tons of coal back and forth, up from below ground to above ground in the mines. It was bad back then. They didn't have a whole lot of technological stuff, and the unions, of course, were not around. So the entire time you were there, you had a company store that they would give you credit for, essentially, usually some sort of coin that could only be redeemed or even had value. This one I do know about, so shut up.
Yeah, I do have a problem with it.
What's that?
We're supposed to discuss these anyway.
Okay, we're supposed to discuss them. This is my last one. So.
It's not really based on a specific event. So it's a history lesson about a series of events. And you could say that about a lot of different songs. There's songs about slavery, there's songs about working on the railroad, etc. And so 16 Tons, I think, kind of misses what I was hoping to do.
Yeah.
But I know that you're kind of trying to squeeze some in there.
Part of the way is,
and you really like the song.
I do like the song.
That's the most important
I have to admit I love the song. But it also goes back to a time when most people don't even know about. I mean, the problems of the coal, the plight of the coal miners was, I thought so, was underappreciated, really. And now we have unions because of these problems, and they don't quite know where they came from, what they came from, that is.
A lot of people don't realize
how bad it was for them to come up, and what the unions originally were fighting for. Because originally, the song has the line, "I owe my soul to the company store." And back then, that was essentially true.
And people won't understand that, I think. Depending on how history classes continue to teach, or not teach, rather, the entire history, I think that may get lost. The idea of a company store, people are going to think, well, you just go down to Kroger's.
Like also,
that's a company. So
and
why from them?
That's part of the reason why I put it on here. I felt that it was something that may be lost and that I want to keep alive. It's that whole remember history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Okay, well, let me run through a bunch of honorable mentions then,
I don't have
because you have no honorable mentions,
yeah.
And I think we pretty much covered those. I think we have top 5 plus 1 that I'm a little suspect of fitting into this category. But these others, very specific. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Gordon Lightfoot, excellent song, 1975 sinking of the ship, the Edmund Fitzgerald. Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. If you haven't heard any of the guys from the band talk about that night, it is based on a true event, the smoke rolling across the water. Awesome. If you just listen to the lyrics for a change, because most people listen to the music of that song. They may overlook that there's that whole story there, and my favorite line about some stupid with a flare gun, which was how it all started.
Some stupid with a flare gun, turn the place to the ground. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky.
The Battle of New Orleans, again, another Johnny Horton. Sink the Bismarck I like a lot better, but Battle of New Orleans is a great song as well. About the Battle of New Orleans in the winter of 1814-1815, when the war was technically already over, but they didn't know it. You did Prima Victoria, which I had on my list.
Which is another thing, by the way, the Battle of New Orleans that isn't quite understood now. I mean, how would they not know?
Yeah, today's kids might not understand how you could go several months without knowing that a war was over. Please Mr. Custer, the Larry Verne song from 1960 about the 1876 Battle of Little Bighorn, of course. It's a kind of a comedy, but it is based on true stories. Nebraska, the Starkweather spree killer. Spree killing by the Starkweathers in that Springsteen sung about in 1982. And Bloody Sunday, Bloody Sunday by U2 is based on the Derry killings in 1972 in Ireland.
I'm surprised nobody has made a video or a song, or well, they might have, about that, was it Craigslist killer?
There probably will be.
I'm surprised there hasn't been one. Maybe
I
wanted to mention Detroit Rock City by Kiss. He had done Smoke on the Water. That made me think of it, actually, because I didn't have it written down. But it's actually about a fan of Kiss who actually was driving to their concert and got killed, wrecked on bad ice or had too much to drink. It's kind of mentioned both in the song. But he was killed on the way to a show in Detroit.
So it sounds like a cool, upbeat song, but it's actually got that sad part to it that a lot of people forget.
Always got to listen to lyrics, otherwise it gets you.
But if we're going to pare this down to 3, we took 16 Tons off so you could put it into a different kind of list. One about more generic history that needs to be taught.
And I have conceded that even though I like Hurricane by Bob Dylan, it is not necessarily as grand of a scope as the other.
And if you're going to go with grand scope, too, I think, although it's historically important, Ohio is still just about one tiny event, like some of the others on the best mentioning list. So, of course, Primo Victoria might be number 1 there, if you think about how important it was for history. Sink the Bismarck, again, there's 2 from World War II. And the Star-Spangled Banner is very important to Americans, so all 3 inspired by war.
No one should terrify their